Here's an interesting thing. I thought you guys might drool over or be interested in or bored and go to the pub. The one thing when I'm coaching somebody, I always bang on all about is being consistent and the importance of being consistent. It's really the only way that you can actually change something if you can be consistent to start with. Because one lap is fractionally faster than the other. But it's quite interesting to see where that extra sort of speed, if you want to call it, comes from. So we'll run through a lap first of all with me chatting briefly about it, and then we'll rewind it, and then we'll do it step by step. So you'll hopefully see the small changes which do happen. Slightly uphill as you come out of it, bit of a wheelie onto the straight. Bikes are now running more or less side by side. Under the start gantry, pretty much identical. Slight gap opening up at this point, not much in it again. Notice how the tip-ins are all happening fractionally different now because right-hand screen is ahead alongside the pits, and we get to the gantry now. And that's the difference you see. Right-hand screen, the gantry is directly above us. Left-hand screen, got that short gap there, which is possibly a second. So let's go over that a bit slower now and see what the differences or where the differences came from. Now you can see how both bikes are doing just about exactly the same speed. So around the last corner onto the straight. Apexing fractionally quicker on the left screen. So let's motor on a little bit down the straight. As we get to the start of the buildings on the right, which is the pit complex, you can see the bikes are within 1 mile an hour of each other. So we're now effectively exactly the same sort of pace. That's just about where we're braking. And again, we're within 1 mile an hour of each other at that point. Into the corner, braking deep into the corner. We arrive on the right-hand one and the left-hand one almost the same time. For the right-hand bike now actually accelerates slightly harder because as we're coming to the end of the curve, as you can see the end of the drift out curve here, just as that kind of disappears, we're about 83, 84 miles an hour. All that differential is the same. So as we arrive at this fast kink here, as we're passing the apex, right screen 124, left screen about 118, 119. So we're still up that sort of 6 miles an hour difference. The Amco's slightly uncomfortable being that close, but hey, I'm used to doing Macau, so I'm not too worried. And as a result, from the apex, the right-hand screen, the bike starts to accelerate. But on the left-hand screen, I'm running out to the curb at a similar point on the track, but I'm actually decelerating still because I've actually run in too hot and I've got to get the thing turned. It does show the difference between allowing the bike to sort of carry on turning and then sit it up and then open the throttle, which is what's happened here, and arriving slightly slower, getting more of the turn done, but opening the throttle at the apex and starting to drive hard. But it's the little tiny bits, it's the dripping tap which fill the bucket at this point. And if you haven't got the advantage, you've got to go twice as fast sort of thing to get back to that same point. On the 102, 100, just slightly slower. The left-hand screen is losing a tiny bit here speed-wise. Over the crest of the rise, 105 on the right. The left-hand screen had made up a bit of ground through the chicane, but started to lose a little bit over the rise there. But the damage was done to the left-hand screen fairly, let's say, early in the lap by about lap between turn 4 and turn 6 is where the difference really started to open up. And no matter how hard you try, sometimes you can't close or claw back that extra bit of time and up to the line, and that's the difference. So sometimes if you're looking on the timesheet and you look down the sheet and you say, well, how the hell can I get this extra few seconds back? You can see how small differences, being consistent, is really important. Get on board for just $5 a month to see my exclusive content. But if you like what I do, you can subscribe on higher tiers for greater rewards.